Hey everyone, get ready to hide your wallets or your purses because today we're taking a look at some of the absolute best deals on great games that you can pick up for just $2 here on the Nintendo Switch. And be sure to stay tuned to the channel over the weekend as we'll have even more great eShop deals coming your way over the next few days. Thanks as always for hanging out, and if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and hop into the combo down below in the comments before you head out. Alright everyone, let's get started. Apple Knight is a 2D action platformer available for one player from developer Limitless. It has a download just under 400 megabytes and offers about 3 to 4 hours of gameplay. It gives the player a few different difficulty options to make it fun for all ages and offers a wide variety of weapon and armor upgrades along with new abilities that you can unlock. There's also an endless mode which just randomizes the levels and lets you go until you die. Overall, there's a lot of content here, and right now it's on sale for just $1.99, marked down 80% from the normal $9.99, and the deal ends on the 8th. Up next, we have Apple Slash, which is a pretty unique single-player top-down adventure with twin-stick hack-and-slash mechanics added in. It offers a short but enjoyable main story game mode and can be beaten in under an hour, but it is another game that you can pick up and play in short play sessions or on the go, or just come back to whenever you want. The combat is fun and it runs well here on the console, plus of course you can see it has a unique graphical style to it, and while that won't be for everyone, I actually kinda like games like this. Right now it's on sale for just $1.99, marked down 60%, and the deal ends on the 11th. You'll need about 180 megabytes for the download. Castle Formers is a single-player action RPG with easy-to-learn mechanics that makes it a great game for beginners or if you have a younger family member in the house. As for the story, it's pretty linear as well, again making it easy to follow, and the gameplay is pretty fun. Now it's split into two segments. You have the normal 2D questing where you go out and gather resources and take down monsters, and then you have the tower defense side, which happens at night when the baddies come and try to take down your home. Now the game does start off a bit slow, but it does pick up over time, and right now it's on sale for just $1.99, marked down from the normal $4.99, and the deal ends on the 11th. You'll need a little over 100 megabytes for the install. Next we have Clash Force, which is a single-player 2D arcade-style action platformer with a small download around 50 megabytes, and while the main story is only about an hour long, it's another game that you can come back to over and over again, plus you have 3 playable characters for a bit of variety as well. Now it features an auto-fire button so you won't have to worry about icing down your thumb after a game session, and that's always appreciated. And there's a difficulty slider, which does alter the game quite a bit, so if you find it's just a little bit too hard by default, you can play around with that and it should help out. On top of that, the game does save your progress, however you do lose any weapon upgrades that you've acquired if you decide to hop back in later. It's another game that really does hit that retro feel, and if you're interested you can pick it up for just $1.99, marked down 60% again until the 11th. Cosmos Bit is a retro-themed Metroidvania for one player. It was published by Metallica Games and has a download around 100 megabytes. Now the main story should take roughly 2 hours to wrap up, and it follows a space warrior as we battle our way across the hostile enemy planet. It features a beautiful synthwave soundtrack and authentic retro graphics that were inspired by the late 80s and early 90s, and it really does come through in the final product. To me, this is a hidden gem for any fan of the genre, and right now it's on sale for just $1.99, marked down 60%, and the deal ends again on the 11th. Dojoran is another fun platformer from Metallica Games. Again, it's a single-player adventure, but this time the game features a really neat 1-bit graphical style. The download is just over 50 megabytes, and it offers more than 25 levels that start off simple enough, and of course gradually get tougher from there. Luckily though, the game is pretty generous with checkpoints and you have unlimited lives, so overall it's not that bad. Right now it's on sale for just $1.99, again marked down 60%, and the deal ends on the 11th. You can expect roughly 3 hours or so from the pickup. Up next we have Goblin Sword, which is a single-player side-scrolling action RPG with a roughly 10-hour main story and a small download at around 250 megabytes. Now with this one you get more than 80 cool levels, fun boss battles, collectibles, and the unique feature here is that you have different animal forms that you can switch between, and you'll have to do this to move around or solve puzzles or even sometimes in combat. It's a great platformer with a ton of content, and right now it's marked down 60% to just $1.99, matching an all-time low, and the deal ends on the 4th of next month. Inside is a single-player puzzle-style adventure game from publisher Playdead, and while the story will only last maybe a couple of playthroughs at just 3 or 4 hours, I'd have to say this is one of my favorite games here on the console. You start off just like many other games in this genre, alone and with no rhyme or reason as to why you're in your current situation, and you just have to go from there. You'll have to be careful though, everything is a one-hit death. Now the atmosphere is incredible, and this is a must-play at just $1.99, marked down 90% and matching an all-time low until the 8th. Moon Raider is a really cool 2D action platformer that offers local co-op for 2 players, and it has a download around 600 megabytes. Now the game offers about 3 to 4 hours of gameplay, and we follow a young warrior named Ava on a mission to raid the moon for special gems that her mom needs in order to stay alive. It features gorgeous graphics with vibrant colors, the controls feel great, and there's a good bit of variety in the environments and enemies, plus there are more than 10 different boss battles. Again, it's a really good value at just $1.99, and this time around the deal ends on the 9th. Now if you've bought any of their other games in the past, you can get it for even cheaper at just 49 cents, so make sure to check it out on the eShop and see if you qualify. Ritual Crown of Horns is a top-down action game with a Western horror theme, and it's incredibly difficult. Now the game is all-out action from the start, and it centers around an undead bounty hunter that's out for revenge. You take on waves of enemies and massive hordes, combining both weapons and spells as you make your way through. Eventually you can find and unlock new buffs or things to make you even stronger. Now again, it's definitely a tough game, but if you're up for the challenge, make sure to grab it up. It's at an all-time low, marked down 90% to just $1.99, and the deal ends on the 5th. Keep in mind that you will need a little over 4.5 gigs for the install. Up next we have Swords and Bones 2, which is a single-player action platformer with light RPG elements added in. It offers players 50 different levels that, of course, again, increase in difficulty and can really challenge your skills by the end. The download is under 100 megabytes, and for the sequel, they went with a 16-bit style of graphics, inspired by games again from the late 80s and early 90s. Now, luckily this time around, the game does have a bit more depth with each of the different mechanics, and you have the ability to edit your loadout before each level, which is always nice. The game even offers multiple different endings, and right now you can pick it up for just $1.99, marked down 80%, and the deal ends on the 4th. Next we have Bridge Strike, which is a single-player top-down shoot-'em-up. It has a download around 315 megabytes and does a great job of taking players back to the old days with a great retro look and chiptune soundtrack, combined with that arcade style of gameplay. Now you can tackle the game in 2 distinct ways. You have the raid mode, where you can just go all out until you die, and then you have the story-driven campaign mode as well. There are even coins that you can collect to upgrade your vehicles for your hangar, and this is another really cool game that you can pick up right now for just $1.99, marked down 72%, and the deal ends on the 1st of the month. Planet Alpha is a 2D puzzle platformer. It's kind of like Inside or Limbo, and then you have to solve puzzles as you make your way through the world, and everything is deadly. So that means that mistakes are fatal. This time around though, it's more of a sci-fi story, and as the player, you have the ability to control time, switching from day to night and vice versa. Now this mechanic is used to solve puzzles as you progress through, and some of the visuals are truly stunning here on the console. At $9.99, I probably wouldn't recommend the game, but for just $1.99, I think this is another great value this week, but the deal does end on the 1st, so make sure if you plan to pick it up that you act quickly. You'll also need a little over 3.5 gigs for the download. SuperEpic The Entertainment War is a single-player 2D action platformer with a download around 870 megabytes and a main story that should last roughly 10 hours or so to wrap up. Now in this one we play as a raccoon with our trusty steed as we explore the offices of this corrupt corporation, taking on a wide variety of enemies, epic bosses, and overcoming the random puzzles that we find along the way. The story itself is pretty comedic, and if you're interested in SuperEpic, make sure to grab it up before the deal ends again on the 1st. It's marked down 89% to just $1.99. Alright everyone, here are a few other games to check out while you're already on the eShop.
I'll get you home. But you know what being here means, right?
It's a dream world?
It's a world between life and death.
Bit destructible open world, spanning from the city to the suburbs, the beach to the water, to farms, parks, and the jungle.
Fireball! Dark flames!
Alright everyone, that wraps up today's video. Please leave a like if you had a good time or we hope you find any cool games to pick up. Feel free to jump into the convo down below, and of course subscribe if this was your first time here. Thanks to the channel members and the patrons, and as always, stay safe my friends.